everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Shadow Night Live. My name is Trey Mangum, and I'm so excited for our show today because we have two stars from the hottest series of the fall, HBO's We Are Who We Are. We have Spence Moore and Kristine Seamon. Thank you so much for being here today with me.
Thank you for
Thank you for
having me.
having us.
Man.
Yeah. I know that everyone's talking about this show. It's very provocative. It's a lot of stuff going on, and it's stirring a lot of conversations online as well. And just to give our viewers a primer on the show, it's a coming of age story about two American teenagers who, along with their military and civilian parents, are living on an American military base in Italy. It explores friendship, first love, and all the unknowns of being a teenager, which could happen anywhere, but in this case, it happens to be on this little slice of America in Italy. It is from the director of Call Me By Your Name, Luca Guadagnino, and yeah, he's directed Call Me By Your Name and Suspiria, and this is his major foray into television. So it's super great that you two get to be a part of this. So my first question is for each of you, how did these roles come about for you? And we'll start with Jordan and Spence. You can answer second.
Okay.
Um, Kind of unconventionally, I would say. My mom found it I on one of the casting websites she was on, and I had just finished releasing my EP and everything for my music, and I was really intrigued. I loved the character blurb for Caitlin, and decided to do a self tape. Did it in my bathroom. That's what I tell everyone, and then they liked it clearly. I did a couple more. I did one downtown, and then I was able to come to California and meet with Luca and Jack, and then I was able to meet everybody else. I met Ben and I met Spence and Luca and Carmen Cuba and everybody else again.
Cool.
This role came about through for me through my agents. It started off as a self tape for me as well. I initially read for Craig. It wasn't until I think my second or third round at Carmen's office when they, I guess, sent me an email and said we want to bring you in for Danny. And Danny started off being this like little petite kid who doesn't look like me at all. Like I'm kind of like they call me a meathead or like a beefcake or something like that in some of the articles. But yeah, that's how I got my role. I came back in for Danny, very, very excited, very, very. And then, like Jordan said, man, like I got the email saying I was gonna have a chemistry read or something like that. Went back up to Carmen's office, and then I just met Jordan. I seen Ben. I saw Jack. I saw Luca, and yeah, as they say, the rest is history, man.
Yeah. So I know you all filmed this last year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
In Italy. How was filming in Italy and living there during this period of time? Was there any culture shock for you all?
Ooh. Go
After
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
Oh,
No, go
I
ahead.
got you. Well, first off, this was the first time I had ever been off of U.S. soil, aside from the time I went to Puerto Rico. So I would say 100% it was a culture shock, just because, of course, you're immersed into an environment where you language, learn new customs.
Mm-hmm.
You're like going out every single day. And like you're going to the grocery store every single day because stuff gets so bad, like so fast. So for me, it was an adjustment period just because like it was a new area. And I had to kind of adapt to it. But I felt like it was dope because it immersed me in the culture, and that helped ultimately just bring out Danny in a special way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say it definitely was a huge culture shock. It was my first time ever being out of America. So it was really, really weird and really different. And on top of all of that shock, I was also my first time ever doing film. So I was super nervous and not really sure on how well or not well I was going to do. But thankfully, I had people like Spence and Jack and Fran and Luca who were just so helpful in making the process like 10 times easier.
Yeah, she handled like a pro, Trey.
Stop.
A
we would not think that it was your first role because it's so good.
Thank
So
you.
good.
Thank you.
And ironically enough, my only time outside of US soul, I believe, was Puerto Rico as well.
Ah,
So hopefully
Great Island.
so hopefully when COVID ends, we can I can hopefully go to Italy and experience things that you all experienced while we're on set. So for our viewers who are looking at this, so episode 2 of the show aired this week, and we got to learn more about Jordan and Spence's characters, at least more than we did in the first episode, due to the way their structure. Like episode 1 was about the other lead character played by Jack Dylan Grazer, and episode 2 kind of comes from the lens of Jordan's character. So could you, both of you, talk about your characters and what's your favorite part of playing them?
I would say my favorite part about playing Caitlin was playing someone that was just so confident in themselves. When I first got to Italy, because it was my first film role, I was really, really scared and nervous, and I wasn't feeling super duper confident. And in general, in the past, I had played really mean girls for some reason. I don't know why. I think I just have that look, that mean girl look. But it was really, really interesting to play a character that was just so confident and really took charge of a room whenever they stepped in. And you see it a lot more through the rest of the season.
Yeah, yeah.
My favorite part about playing Danny, I would say, I would definitely say just the fact I had to really like live in being Danny, because Danny is a type of person that I would say I'm not really like. So for me, it was a stretch just from artistic point of view, because to go to set a lot of times, living in the headspace of playing Danny Poitras. But it was a love-hate relationship, because I feel like it was my favorite part, because I felt like I was really locked into my character the whole time, like while we're shooting. Um, so I would say that was my favorite part, just having to lock in and go and really be this character and really bring him to life.
Were there any similarities that you saw with your characters, with yourselves? Like I know you said there were some differences, but was there any level that you connected because you were kind of similar to these characters?
I would say, just for me personally with Danny, the thing that I connected with was just how introspective he was. I'm a pretty deep thinker, I would say. Like I'm really outgoing, really care, stuff like that. But when I'm alone, or if I'm in a group of people, sometimes I'm very, very to myself, and I listen a lot. So I would say in that way, I'm a lot like Danny, and also just uh, with the sense of feeling a little lost and like you don't know where you're going. Um, I definitely experienced a lot of that in high school, just through identity crisis, or me just kind of figuring out who I was, because I felt like I was putting on a front a lot of the time. So with Danny, the introspective approach, man, that's how I connect with him. Just how deep of a thinker he is.
Yeah. Jordan, were there any similarities you saw with Caitlin in you?
Not at first. But well, actually, no. At first, there were some. What really drew me to Caitlin was just some of the things that she did. Caitlin hunts. She shoots guns. She knows how to boat. You know, she kickboxes. All of those were things, not specific things that I did, but just them being unconventional things that people don't usually see young women doing, and young Black
Yeah.
women especially doing. And I was lucky enough to experience some of those things and more. So Caitlin and I had that in common. But after playing Caitlin for a while, I found myself identifying with a lot of the questions that Caitlin has with gender identity and gender fluidity, and just trying to figure out who you are as a person and where you fit in life. And I'm still figuring out, but you know, it's getting better day by day.
Yeah, yeah. So we're seeing, like, I guess, a renaissance of teen dramas or young adult dramas. And it's gotten to the point where, a few days ago, Zendaya won the lead actress Oscar for her role in Euphoria.
Yeah.
And Euphoria is a show where she's a young Black actress, and she's the anchor of this show. So how is it for you both, being young Black actors, to have this platform? Even when we think about last year, I think Jerome won his award for in a lead category around the same age, and Asante Black for the same program, When They See Us, got a supporting nod at like 15, 16. So I think we're seeing more and more young Black actors getting their due in the same sense that young white actors do. So I just like want to talk about that experience of you having such high profile, visible roles on this HBO show. Like, what does that mean to you?
It's really inspiring. I can easily say, seeing people like Zendaya, be able to be so successful and handle the fame and everything, but with such grace. It's so inspiring, and it really makes me think about how I carry myself and how I need to carry myself in the future just to reach half of the level of amazingness she's at. But it's definitely really great to see. I know when I was very, very young, I didn't see all the people that young people are able to see now, especially Black, like actors and actresses and singers and creators just in general. I know it probably would have made just the trail a tad bit more easier if I had seen someone that looked like me and was around my age winning an amazing award like that. But it's really cool, and I think it's so helpful for young people to see, to believe that one day, they can reach that or reach something even higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, for me, I would say it's just dope to be a part of the narrative of creating this, of trailblazing the path for young aspiring actors, or even just entertainers, athletes of background, because a lot of times you're not, from a young age, you're seeing, like Jordan was saying, growing up, you didn't see a lot of Black actors or people on a platform like on HBO or like NBC, just anywhere. And I mean, you looked up to people like Will Smith and your Denzels, but that was like the only type of people I think you would see. And the fact that it's starting to get a little bit younger, and you're starting to see Black people represented on the shows like or on the award shows like Emmys and in the Oscars, and you're seeing them in the running, is showing that it is possible that you can do it too. And that, I mean, if you if you put in enough hard work, like, you can definitely overcome anything and achieve anything. So just being a part of the narrative for me is just really dope. Lead the next line of a Generation Z. It's dope.
Yeah, so it's kind of like in a sense that you all can be for younger people now, kind of like what we didn't see during when we were growing up. So I think that's pretty important to note as well. And I would love to know, how is it like working with Luca on this project? A lot of people were anticipating his television work coming off of his acclaimed film. So that's one of the main reasons why so much attention was on your show. So I'd like to hear from both of you of how that experience was.
It was. I'm definitely happy to say that I'm really proud that Luca was like my first film director to ever work with. Working with Luca was such an eye-opening experience, and Luca's a firm believer in asking opinions from the actors. And I think that's what helps make the show so authentic and so realistic in a sense. He really took the time to ask me multiple times on multiple scenes how I thought Caitlin would carry out the scene or carry out this action, or if Caitlin would react this way or that way. And being able to not only give input, but also get like really good constructive criticism from him, and not just like sometimes you get a director and they're not very specific. And with me, I need you to be specific with me so I can do what you want me to do. But with Luca, he was amazing with really being very, very telling with exactly what he wanted and being open to try new things. And sometimes the new things would work, which was great.
Yeah, man, Luca's very, very hands-on. I've worked with a lot of directors, and I would say he's the one of the very, very special ones. Just in the sense that he is very, very clear. He knows exactly what he wants, and he expects nothing less than, I guess, perfection. And if it's like something he envisioned it to be, um, he will literally go back to the drawing board, scratch an entire day, and we will try again the next day. So like, and that actually happened a couple times while we were over on set and filming. But man, he's awesome. He's awesome. Everything that Jordan said is spot on. but for me, man, it was a very trustworthy, trusting relationship because he does give you that outlet to bring yourself to the character. And he is very, very open to your direction and to your input on your character, because he just wants to make it feel authentic for you, because he knows if you're comfortable, then it's make you perform that much better. So it was seamless, man. It was a really dope experience working with him. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. If you both could play one other character on the show other than your own, who would it be and why?
Spence, you go first. I have to think.
Okay.
It's such a huge cast. You have so many people to choose from too.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I I think that Craig is cool. Not gonna lie, like I think that Craig is pretty cool. The fact that he's kind of a leader in his own right, I feel like so far you see he's like that authoritative figure amongst the kids. I would say, like episode 2 with the jump tower and stuff. Okay, know what y'all doing? Um, I just think that Craig is so dope, especially the way Corey like portrays him, because he's a leader in his own right first and foremost, but he's very very strong, and he's very very I would say passionate about his people, and that's something that I would say I wish I was a little bit um, more. I wish that kind of showed up a little bit more in my own life, just being a little bit more confident at times, and a little bit more passionate. So for me, it would be Craig, 100%. Yeah.
I I'm gonna default and say Brittany. I just feel like the character, when I first read one of the scenes that I auditioned for, it was myself and Brittany's character. And I reading it just felt really comfortable. Brittany doesn't come off as like the mean girl, but just the way that she carried herself was not similar to how I carried myself, but similar to how I used to carry myself when I was much younger. Um, and I would love to have pink hair. I have pink hair, but it would have been cool to have pink hair sooner.
I can see that. I can see that. What advice would you give aspiring Black actors? You know, you were young Black actors yourself who are trying to work on their craft during this pandemic, because we have so much more time on our hands with most people, being in quarantine and social distancing. What would you give? What advice would you give to these actors who want to be in like where you are in your position to help them improve?
Um, I would say to young actors, especially during this time when it seems like you really can't do too much, because it seems like everybody's locked down at the moment. Make sure you are taking this time to have your reset, because a time like this where you're gonna have so much time to just be alone and really in your own thoughts, and maybe address some things that were an issue in your past, or um, even just things going on in the world that maybe you haven't paid really close attention to. I feel like it all plays a part in your acting. So I would say personally, just don't lose hope. Um, Stay ready so you don't got to get ready. Uh, Watch your movies, um, and make sure you reaching out to your friends, and making sure they good, because this is a tough time for everybody. But if we stick together, man, we can overcome anything. So moving forward, just make sure that you're looking out for your people, and yeah, man, that's really all I got to say about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I would say get creative. Like Spence said, I know the times with everything, you feel like you might not have so many outlets where you can really truly practice your craft. Um, but get creative, post a stupid reel on Instagram or something, do some fun acting games at home. I did a couple of those. They were really fun to do with your parents. Um, just try new things, and also just don't give up in general. You know, I know sometimes, I mean, you hear no so much as an actor sometimes, and you have a lot of people, unfortunately, that sometimes want to tear you down. So it's really, really important that you get back up and you pick yourself up, and that you have people around you that will pick you up. And you know, just be creative, have fun, make yourself smile, laugh. It's great.
Jordan, I also want to touch a little bit on your music.
Oh
I
yeah.
wanted to ask you, who are some of your inspirations, and um, what would you classify your type of music as?
um Classification wise, I don't really like to put a label on anything in my life, really, but especially on my music, just because I really love exploring, and I like taking that into every aspect of art that I do make slash create. So with music, especially with my new album, Identity Crisis, I really took the time to try so many different genres. Like there's a really poppy, there's a lot of R&B, you know, there's a little bit of rock in there. You know, I love just exploring and having fun and just making myself happy. Inspirations, my top three are Neo, Spence, you know this, Haley Kiyoko, and Dodie Clark. She's that British YouTuber that's just so creative. I just love how different their styles are. I love how open they are about the expression and just, you know, creating music. And I really love like the general just freeness that they have, I guess. And I aspire to have that kind of freeness in my music and everything else that I do.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds great. And Spence, I wanted to touch on, you have multiple shows out. You know, you have AP Bio. They just came back for a new season and a new home on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
And your fans are wanting to know more about when All American
Yeah.
is coming back on the CW. So I'd love to know, like, how is this role on We Are Who We Are so vastly different than the other roles, and how do you distinguish between
Oh my
these,
gosh.
because you have
Oh my gosh, stop.
three distinct different characters.
Cat.
I
Is he
think we
frozen
lost.
on your end? He's frozen on my end.
I think we may have lost Spence. But until he comes back, so he's also in AP Bio, which is on
Yes.
Peacock season 3. It used to be on, and there he is. He's back.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Oh my God. This never happened before.
No, you're good. You're good. This happened a few weeks ago.
Okay, so you asked me about AP Bio, how it's vastly different, or how this role is vastly different from like AP Bio and all the other stuff that I've done. So
Yeah.
it is vastly different because a lot of these other roles that I've portrayed, I would say, are just kind of like your typical like high school jock situation, like cool kid. I'm a bully, turn to bully with the change of heart because he was just a little bit misunderstood and he wants some friends. In All American, I'm just like the best friend with Spencer who's just trying to get his, like everybody else who's coming out of Crenshaw. So it is vastly different just in the sense that the approach is a little bit different. Because I would say with Danny, like it was way so far away from me that I really had to like lock in and focus up on him. With Dan and with Chris, it's really cool because that's more close to home for me. Like just talking to people, like just being like outgoing and just saying whatever. That's more so how I am. So those roles were dope. Shout out to my AA family. We're actually starting production on season 3 really soon. So I'm really excited about that. And then the AP Bio season, man, like season 3, we didn't get to finish it on Peacock, but the 8 episodes that we put out, they're awesome and they were really fun to shoot. So man, they're pretty different. They're definitely pretty different.
I know that All American has a really intense fandom, and they'll have like all these fan pages for characters, and it's just a lot. But that's good to have. I think a lot of it has to do with so many people binge watch that show on Netflix. So and I know that leads to so many more people watching it. But it's very cool that you have 3 distinctly different characters.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
On TV right now.
The blessing.
Yeah. And my final question would be, what is the key takeaway that you both would hope viewers take away from watching We Are Who We Are?
I really hope, I've said this a million times, but I really, really hope that people, after seeing the show, start a conversation. The show is about acceptance and figuring out who you are. And I really hope that after seeing the season in its entirety, people are able to have conversations with their friends and family and be more accepting. And I hope that people will be able to be more accepting of themselves, because it's all about figuring out who you are. And that's sometimes the hardest part, trying to admit to yourself who you truly are and trying to truly accept yourself. So I hope people have a conversation and learn a little bit more and become more accepting about people being more fluid.
I hope what people take away from the show is just that what you are going through is you can overcome, and it is 100% totally normal, because in your struggles or your journey may not look like somebody else's journey, but it's not any less valid than someone else's journey. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just hoping that people um, are really able to find out who they are, first and foremost. Secondly, just be unapologetically you, and just be okay 100% with being who you are, even if it's, because I know some of the times, like, you get kind of caught up on like, is this right, or am I supposed to be doing something different? But if you truly feel like you are like living your purpose and living your truth, then I don't think you have anything to be ashamed of, and I think you should just definitely live it out and go at it 100%, and do it without any remorse or anything. So just being unapologetically you. I'm hoping that people know that, and are okay with themselves.
Yeah, those are both great messages. I think that this show is going to start a lot of dialogue about these conversations to have with friends, family, and everyone in our lives about just like love and acceptance. So I think this show really hones in on that. But that's all the time that we have. I appreciate you both so much for stopping by and talking with me. We are who we are. It's a mouthful. Airs weekly on HBO, and it's also available to stream the next day on HBO Max. So you have 2 times to check it out. But thank you, Jordan and Spence, for stopping by, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.